Afternoon all, as a best man, I've had the dubious pleasure of knowing Pete for some 23 years. I thought I would start at the beginning. Famous now for hanging around men's leagues, tobacco and sex shops, back then this early be found hanging from heavily reinforced doorways. Now, Pete's known for his flamboyant dress sense. Yes. Pete's known for his flamboyant dress sense. Here are a few examples. I particularly like this little sexy little number. Sleeveless top and gold trainers. He called this look his Magnum PI. But some things never go out of fashion. Still pretty much wearing the same suit 25 years ago. I first met Peter at Whitby High School when he smashed into our Year 7 maths class a good 20 minutes late and looking like a bewildered young Herman Munster. I immediately noticed how massive his head was. I mean, honestly, this thing was a sniper's dream. I also thought he was looking at me funny, but then later realised it was just his lazy cod eye. Being late was a theme with Pete. I blame him to drag his size 12 orthopaedic shoes behind the bed when he went. Back then he was also a good 2 foot taller than the rest of us, so naturally you assumed he must be some sort of simpleton, held back a few years for repeatedly sticking crayons up his nose. Despite all this, we liked him anyway. Now, I don't know if you know this, Laura, but Pete's got a very special talent. He can shoplift an entire Back then we would smuggle this calorific fudge-packed booty back to his bedroom and consume the entire thing without a spoon to avoid detection. Now, Pete could have easily turned to a life of crime. Peter could have easily turned to a life of crime, but luckily he didn't, and on leaving high school he moved to live with his dad. He always kept in touch, mainly updating me in great detail on his adventurous car bonnet love-making sessions. He returned a short 1 year later after failing to show up for the vast majority of his 4-year apprenticeship. And it was only then he admitted he was still very far away from ever getting his big clumsy thumbs anywhere near the inside of a bra. Or was it? Admittedly his own and filled with balloons, I have never seen anyone so happy to find out the inner workings of a bra. Dressed like this, we were later gate crash a national line dancing competition held on Ellesmere Court, Premier Hotspot, the Shell Sports and Social Club. It was known back then for attracting all the movers and shakers and sexually active pensioners. So as you can imagine, we fitted in the treat. Now, with cross-dressing still in mind, Laura, I have some advice, as I know you're considering Thailand for your honeymoon. Having already survived a 2-week holiday with Peter, I consider myself somewhat of an expert in keeping him entertained and out of trouble. First of all, Pete likes to speed tap. He doesn't like to be told to wear sun cream, doesn't believe you when you say you can smell and hear him cooking, and hates you slapping his big purple hefty back. Pete likes difficulties? Yeah. To eat food. Pete doesn't like to look up from his food and see wondrous sights, and just says, take pictures and I'll look at them later, or in between meals. Pete likes to leave his money and passport in the previous hotel. He doesn't like me to then leave him to do the 5-hour round trip to retrieve them on his own whilst you relax on the beach. And finally, Pete likes to sit in a hot beach house watching knock-off DVDs for hours on end. He doesn't like me to crack the window and let the stank out. I think, if I'm honest, everyone who knows Pete thought he would die alone. Not because we thought he wasn't capable of meeting a woman, but just because every time we pulled up to his house on Glenwood Road, we would look through his living room window and see Pete sat in his underpants, hunched double, pumping his fists. Yes, he had bought a gaming chair. The street that took over his life, only stopping for a quick kebab or toilet break, and sometimes impossible to get him on nights out. He didn't like it much either when we turned up unannounced at 2 in the morning. There really was no pleasing him. Luckily though, music was his saviour, and armed with his now that's what I call music records, the poor Winter was born, playing gigs all over City Road, exclusively downstairs in City Bar, twice. His wicked beats would always get the ladies' life. Of course, rinsing the decks was not Peter's only skill in life. His real passion lay in tracing. For those of you who don't know, Peter likes to say his job is as a structural engineer, when this really consists of tracing pictures. He has been studying the art of tracing for several years. Little did he know that his unique talent would one day lead his future wife to regularly hire and fire him. Although, to be fair, Laura didn't hire him initially, but she was told by her workmates Pete was a lovely guy who she definitely would. Not fancy. Well, they were wrong, and one look into them big sad cow eyes. She did then later fire him. Pete didn't hold the firing against her, and it wasn't long before we got to meet Laura and realised how special this relationship was. We all knew Laura was the one early on, and this was mainly due to Pete quickly inviting her along to mine and Hayley's wedding in Finland. The miserable underpant-clad gamer was no more, and instead a fun-loving snowman-making Pete appeared. It must have been love, as Peter held off a full year before soiling himself in Laura's presence. If you don't already know, this is a regular occurrence. And in my mind, definitely singles Laura as being very special too. we bought Laura this birthday card, which reads, feeling an ominous dampness in his pants, Pete suddenly realised that farting the happy birthday tune was probably right. As Laura read this card, Pete returned from the train station having dropped some friends off, only to announce he had just shattered. This is not the only poo-related story I can tell about it. There are, in fact, many more. sticks out in my mind is on the first morning of Glastonbury last year. Peter had disappeared to the loo and was gone for several hours. Making Laura quite panicked and feeling it worse. However, upon returning, Pete explained the now coined phrase, "I dipped the tip." He then followed this with, "The girls won't understand, as they don't have any dangly bits." Now, without explaining too much, as I'm sure you can figure out by now, the toilets do tend to get quite full. After he returned, safe and well, their loving reunion cemented that Laura loved Pete no matter what. And that has led us to this special day today. I truly am honoured to call them both my friends, and I want to wish them a very happy future together. I know this won't be difficult, as they're such a perfect couple. I honestly feel really lucky to have had Pete for a mate for so long, and it's then no surprise to anyone that you now have such a beautiful wife in Laura, who looks absolutely stunning today, and it's no secret for me to tell everyone what a funny, warm, loving girl she is. Peter, you're a truly lucky man, and I know you both have many wonderful years ahead of you. Well, I'm sure by now that you'll all be glad to know that I'm almost done and I won't keep you any longer. I know Pete's bound to buy you all a drink at the bar. All that remains for me to do is to ask you to charge your glasses, stand and join me in wishing Mr. and Mrs. Matthews a long and happy life together. Ladies and gentlemen, to the bride and groom, Laura and Pete.
Ha ha ha!